This is McFly Angler.
And it starts now.
To start, we will need a dry fly hook like these barbless 100s from Resin Fly. And today I'm tying a size 14. Place the hook securely in your vise. For thread, I like this Vivas 10-aught, and today I'm using green. Start the thread about an eye length shy of the eye of the hook, and then snip off the waste thread. Wrap your thread down to just shy of the bend of the hook. Now we need some dry fly hackle. I really like Rooster's saddle hackle for this because the feathers are long and can tie multiple flies with just one feather. Find an appropriate sized hackle which you can measure against your hook. You want one a size smaller than the hook size. So basically a size 16 hackle here, which should extend to just past the hook gap. You could also use one of these fancy hackle gauges as well, and you can see here this one is sized 16. When you pull the feather from the saddle, it will not be usable all the way down, as you can see. So you need to snip off a section from the back of the feather, and then strip off a few of the fibers from the base for a clean tie-in point. Hackle fibers angle one direction, as you can see here. Tie in the feather so the fibers are angling rearward like so, and make an X-wrap over the feather to lock it in, perpendicular on the hook shank. Then make some touching wraps to bend the stem up and tie over the stem to lock the feather in really tight, and then bring your thread back to the feather tie-in point. Now we need some dubbing. In this case, I'm using Antron dubbing. It comes in a wide variety of colors, more than I have here, and all of these colors can actually be used for this fly. Today though, I'm tying a green caddis, so pull out a small amount of medium olive and separate the fibers a bit. Dub this onto your thread to create a thin dubbing noodle. Make one wrap behind the feather, then proceed to make touching wraps up the hook shank with the dubbing until you reach about an eye length shy of the hook eye. Add more dubbing if you need to. Now start wrapping your hackle up through the dubbing body, spacing out wraps slightly. Once you reach the thread, then capture the hackle with one wrap. Then wrap once in front, then under once again, and once more in front of it. Then cut the waist hackle off close. By the way, I want to mention a fine tip scissor like these mitten scissors from Resin Fly are really helpful to get in tight like this. Anyway, if there are any errant fibers angling forward, snip them off as well. Stroke the fibers rearward and then wrap back up on top of them slightly, and with your thread about an eye length shy of the eye of the hook. Now cut an angle into the hackle fibers on top of the fly to create a sort of a ramp for the elk hair to sit on. Now to create the wing. Traditionally, this was tied with elk, hence the name, and that is what I'm going to use here, bleached elk to be exact. However, if you want to use deer hair, it will work as well. Anyway, cut off a small amount of the fur. The size clump will depend on the size of fly you're tying, but this is about right for a size 14. Pinch the tips of the fur and then comb out any of the underfur and short fibers. Place the material in a stacker to align the tips. Now that the tips are aligned, measure out the wing to a little past the body, maybe about a half a hook shank length past. Transfer that measurement to your other hand and then make 2 loose wraps over the fur, and then cinch down tightly while pinching the fiber to keep it from spinning. To lay down the wing a bit, make some loose wraps back on top of the wing slightly, and then bring the thread back down, and then make a couple wraps winding through the fur butt ends. This will help keep it from spinning on your hook. Pull the fur butt ends back and make a few wraps under them, right behind the hook eye, and this will help keep them angling up a bit. Then whip finish your fly. Now gather all the butt ends so they are even, and then make a straight cut above the tie-in point to create a small squared off head on the fly. Now you could use regular head cement here, but I really like this ultra thin resin from Solarez. You will see why in a minute. Paint a little on top, and then a little on the whip finish, ensuring not to get any in the eye of the hook. and then pull back the wing to lay it down and cure the resin. This will help hold the wing down and not bush out so much. I personally like a more laid down caddis wing to better mimic a caddis. Well, there we have it, a finished elk hair caddis. This is a very popular and effective fly on almost any river, anywhere that there are caddis, that is. As I mentioned earlier, it can be tied in a number of different colors for all the body, the hackle, and the hair wing. This allows you to change the look of this fly to mimic a number of different caddis species. Popular colors are tan, black, olive, orange, yellow, and chartreuse, but you can make it any color you want. Let me know in the comment section what colors of this fly you like fishing for your local waters the most. As you all know, I have gotten you all discounts from both www.risenfly.com and www.dooliesflyfishing.com. Doolies offers great prices on all of the name brand fly tying materials, and Risen Fly manufactures their own hooks, rods, reels, and other gear for fly fishing. Their products are top quality, and best of all, they are priced very reasonably. Not only are the prices at these two shops great, but like I said, they are offering all of my subscribers a discount. So use McFly at checkout when ordering from either of these shops, and you will get an additional 15% off of their already great prices. I want to also thank all of my Patreons who support me. For as little as $1 a month, you can help support this channel and also get some great perks like early access to my videos, participate in live streams, and more. So go to www.patreon.com/McFly Angler to sign up today. I also thank all of you who share all my videos with your friends and your continued support by hitting the like buttons and subscribing. Thank you for making these videos possible. I will see you on the next video. Now you go catch some fish.